to the most entertaining, engaging, and charismatic podcast. Welcome to the Prince of Fresh Air. This is your host, the most charismatic man in entertainment. This is part two on relationships and social media. And originally when we had this conversation, me, my girlfriend, my buddy Dimitri, it was supposed to just be about just you know social media and relationships. But then, we went in a different direction. So we started doing a rapid fire style type of podcast where we just talk about relationships and social media in general. And, I hope you guys enjoy the episode because, this is a conversation we need to have. A lot of relationships have been ended. A lot of relationships have started. And a lot of relationships are in trouble because of social media. How many people got caught cheating on Facebook? I'm not raising my hand. I'm not guilty of that one yet. But, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And let's get into part two, shall we?
So, okay, doing the timeline, we started reconnecting shortly before I moved to New York City. I moved here last fall. And the main reason why I really started responding back is because, I've never lived in this city before. I'm like, okay, he's a local. He can help me out. So for bad reasons, now looking back on it, kind of self-centered reasons, I definitely would have been receptive in person because I'm a new person here and I need help. So I think the timing of everything made sense for me regardless. I'm not saying I'm the best person for that, but
Right.
I was very receptive to help.
Well, not because here's the thing. Because take it from somebody who since my last relationship ended in May of 2020, the last 2 years, primarily where I've met like women is all on dating apps. And I will say, like, Instagram is not as bad in comparison to like Tinder, Black, freaking Bumble, Hinge. It's not nearly as bad because those are like really dating apps. Instagram is not a dating app. If you already know somebody and then like you just hit them up, then to me, I wouldn't say like that's not traditional because I mean, like, look at the era that we live in now. Like, how many people can really say, at least in our age bracket, can say like, oh yeah, I met my girlfriend, like, which would be great. I wish I could say the same, but it's like, how many can say, oh, I met my girlfriend, my boyfriend, like, I was just walking down the street and we bumped into each other, had a conversation, and then we just decided to go out on a date. Like, that don't happen a lot. Like,
no, it don't. And I'll tell you this.
So if let's say, which I wouldn't do it, but if I did, like, just DM some girl because I wanted to reconnect with her, or if I knew she was in town and whatnot, I wouldn't say that that's not traditional. Yes, it's via social media, but it's not like on singlesmeet.com. That's like untraditional.
You'll never catch me on that. But
or an unorthodox way of connecting with somebody.
But I would say
sorry, you know.
But here's the thing. Like in the Jubilee video I was referring to, one of the reasons why me personally, and you will agree with this because you just mentioned it, as men, especially on dating apps, unless you look a certain type of way, you have a certain type of image you're portraying, most of the time it ain't working. Because most people on dating apps, unless you go on like Christian Mingle, where you're probably, coming from the church of the Lord, most times on social media apps, most people are looking for booty calls. They're looking for, someone to take care of them or whatever the case may be. Most people aren't getting into serious relationships through dating apps. And like one of the girls,
they are.
No,
they are. Girls, I've had girls.
App.
I've had girls literally debate me about marriage, like the first time that I started talking to them.
It depends on the app.
But yeah, I think it depends on a person. But I would say 80% of the time, most people ain't looking for long-term relationships on these dating apps. Because me personally,
are you talking about Tinder specifically?
Tinder, Bumble,
yeah, those type of apps.
They all looking for long-term relationships.
Hinge, people are looking for relationships on. Tinder, people are looking for hookups on. And Bumble, people are looking for a mixture between those two and just the tension overall.
Oh, so like you be on
like that. I was
on
at one point. I think most people have. I went on during quarantine because I was just bored and I wanted
Everybody was
attention,
on
which
there. That's when they were
honestly,
lit.
that was most people's things. Like everyone's just bored and wants attention from everyone else. That's the reason why we went on. And I still know people who only use dating apps for attention. And I mean, who cares? I don't think dating apps are a really real thing, to be completely honest. Like I know people who've met their current spouses on dating apps, but the likelihood of that happening
Yeah,
is just so low. So like who cares?
but
Choose
that
to
that's
have
the
what
point
you
I'm
want.
making. But
Like
look, I've been on all of them. You know what I'm saying? I think I've went on a date maybe twice out of the how many years I was on them, because most of the time I feel like I was getting better results shooting messages through DM on Instagram. So me personally though, like our situation is different because like we already knew each other before then. Although you was obsessed with me before we started dating. Let's
uh-huh.
just put
That's
it
why
out
you
there.
thought I hated you. You've told me that you thought I hated you. But also as the fact that maybe you weren't as afraid to message me on Instagram because you're like, well, she hates me already. What do I have to lose? You
Damn,
know
Exactly.
what I
why
mean?
did you think she hated you?
Oh, it was just so it's no secret. I was one of the most popular men to come from our college. I mean, that's
Uh-huh.
just the reality of the situation.
Uh-huh.
Um, like sh- we, I had a radio show at Bonaventure called DJ Long Walks on the Beach. That's right. Yeah, I heard it right. Um, and I was also part of another like radio show called Bonas is Wrestling with two other guys, and she came on a couple times, and I remember I was talking about my favorite wrestler Roman Reigns, and I think we was talking about women in WWE, something like that, and we was getting into a heated debate on that, and so she always had like that look. You know how some girls got that resting face that is just like they look absolutely disgusting when they see you. Not that it bothered me, because everybody else knew who I was, but I always just thought that she didn't like me after we had that argument on the show. So she used to come. She used to be in my dorm hall all the time, and so
Uh-huh.
but
Now you're making it sound like stalkery.
you weren't
So,
stalking me. I mean, I can't
uh-huh.
blame you.
Uh-huh. No,
You're
I had
talking to me
friends
here.
there, but okay. Okay. If you say so.
But I always just thought that she didn't like me, and so like then when I first talked when we first started talking again through Instagram, she was like, "Oh yeah, I always liked you. I always thought you was cute." I was like, "Oh, no shock there," but I always thought she hated me. So, um, and then the rest is history. She a big pain in my ass now, but but like I said, our situation is different because we already knew each other. We knew each other for a while before we reconnected.
Yeah,
It
that's what I was
wasn't,
saying earlier.
yeah, and
Oh,
so it was like what, a year and a half, 2 years since I graduated that I haven't seen you. So it was different because I was in LA. You just moved to New York, and I was like, oh, I go back often. You living in my city, my town, so I have to introduce you. So, but that's different than me just randomly meeting some girl from Texas, and
okay.
you know what I'm saying? Because
Two questions though when it comes to this for both of you guys. So if we're counting like social media, like traditional social media, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, if we're counting that differently than dating apps and stuff like that, do you guys only have friends on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook that you know personally? Or do you have people who you're friends with who are like friends of friends? If that makes sense. And also, have you ever slid into somebody's DMs in that case that you haven't really known well, hoping for a good result?
if sliding DMs was a crime, I'll be doing federal prison time. So yes.
Great.
And social media, well, because you know of social media, like Dimitri said, it's part of it's nature of our job, especially nowadays, to have social media presence. So for me, it's a mixture of both. I have a lot of friends from high school, uh, college, maybe a couple from elementary, and then I have a lot of people that see me on Jubilee or whatever, that listen to the podcast that follow me. So I have a mixture of both, and it's cool like that. I think it's cool because I haven't talked to some of my middle school buddies in years, so to see them how they doing, to see how different they look or whatever, reminisce on the good old days. I sound like I'm 85 right now, but Yeah, I have a mixture of both, and I have slid in DMs plenty of times.
I will say that everybody that I have on Instagram is people that like I either went to school with or like they might be like a mutual, but like I know them, you know what I'm saying? Or I've like acted with them or something like that, or they're like some sort of, like business acting theater, like associate or something like that. And I don't really DM girls. I feel like I don't want to like toot my horn and say like girls DM me, but I feel like I could probably count like more times that a girl is like sent me like eye emojis in like the DM more so than like me hitting them up. And then the one time that I did, the last time that I did like recently a couple of months ago, like it actually yielded like a good result. So like I'll only actually like slide in, like I'll actually initiate contact with somebody, especially if I don't know them, if like it's actually worth it. So I rarely ever do that.
So at that point, if it was somebody who's more of like a mutual that you don't know well, do you hold that almost to the same standard that you do per a dating app? Or do
What
you
do you
still
mean?
think that's like when it comes to like how we were talking about earlier, because like we kind of knew each other beforehand, then Instagram wasn't really like any, like it was just like a medium for us. It wasn't really like for us to get to know each other because we already knew each other. So it was more of a traditional route, even if it wasn't a kind of untraditional way. Do you
Right.
would you consider this in that same sort of realm, even though you don't know this person very well?
Well, I don't follow people that I don't know very well. So,
No, I don't either.
because you see me like girls, like women.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't.
What do you think I mean?
I thought you were just talking about people in
Are you
general.
into men too? Because
Oh,
that's okay with
Dimitri,
me. I'm
what?
just
Dude,
curious.
no, ma'am, I am not.
You can come on the podcast. It's
But
fine.
I will say, nah. All right, so there are girls that I might have talked to them like once or twice on like a dating app, and then we have each other's Instagram, but like I only talk to them, like once or twice. So I don't know if that answers your question. I wouldn't say like I hold it to a lesser standard. Oh, so you're saying like if I were to talk to them, if I were to slide in like let's say one of their DMs, would that make it less traditional? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, like would you compares to like a dating app and stuff like that? Do you think it's more like traditional and comfortable to slide in to somebody you don't know
So
very well's DMs compared to like a dating app? If
I
that
I
makes
will.
sense.
So if I don't, so then the way that I'm using it is essentially the same. So you're right in
Yeah.
that aspect. So if I don't know you, so like let's say I like you for instance, if I didn't know you, and then I just hit you up like, oh hey, what's up? Like then that's not traditional. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It being Instagram, or Instagram being like the main app doesn't make it any more traditional. So yeah, no.
I
Oh,
was
no.
just curious as to where you'd rank social media compared to like dating apps and if they're aligned or if it's just like exceptions for certain things.
Yeah, if I know you already,
No, I
then like
mean,
it's a little bit different. But yeah, if we're
Yeah.
complete strangers, then yeah, the application is still the same.
it's to the point now where Facebook has a dating thing on there. I don't think Instagram got to that point yet, but Facebook has a whole dating section you can go to now. So I think social media in general nowadays is become a dating app in itself. I think at this point a lot of people are moving away from these dating apps because one, you got to pay for them to get the use out of it, and two, I mean, it's so much easier to go on Instagram. You see all these influencers, models, fitness girls, or whatever the case may be, or men that whoever you're into, and it's just a lot easier to see everything that they post and whatever the case may be, and just send them a DM, a post. You have to match with somebody in order to communicate with them. So it's not traditional in a sense. It's not uh, at this point. There's really no distinction because some people use Instagram as a dating app just as much as somebody might use Hinge as one. So, but let me ask you, Natalie, how? Because I know you'll tell me about dudes sliding your DMs. Even let's say we're not dating, how do you feel when dudes slide in your DMs? We gotta get a
Okay,
woman perspective on this.
if we're not dating, it honestly varies on individual and it varies on like I've had men slide into me, like slide in my Facebook
Whoa, slide into
Messenger.
you. Whoa. I had to.
Listen, I am tired. We have been over this.
I
No,
just
but I've
had to.
had
That's
people
all.
like
Just keep
slide.
it PG for the folks.
I'm sorry, kids. I'm sorry.
I have had people slide into my Facebook Messenger, which I think is extremely creepy.
I
Sorry, can you hear me?
No, we lost you a little bit. Was one of the old men sliding in your Facebook Messenger? You got sidetracked
Yeah,
over there.
sorry, my headphones died that I had in, so I was not. But you guys can hear me. Everything good, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've had people slide into my Facebook Messenger, which so the last time somebody did that, it was like a couple years ago, and I'm 23. So if you are like 19, 20 years old sliding into somebody's Facebook, that's just kind of weird. Like that's a
Yeah.
couple yellow flags, red flags, because that's just not the right age group. And that just says something about you that I don't know how to explain, but most girls I feel like would relate to that. It's a very creepy move to start off with.
What for a guy
There-
in general to just DM you?
for Facebook Messenger
Oh,
specifically.
yeah.
That's like
It all varies on apps.
I
It
think that's
all
for like
varies on
40-year-olds.
apps.
yeah. At this point, yeah. You should see the selfies my mom take on there. Oh,
Twitter, nobody will slide into your DMs unless you're like a very, very active person, which is why Twitter is the superior app, in my opinion. Instagram, I just have a very random mixture of people, and it's frustrating. Like, how do I put this? People post, so like I posted something on my Instagram story yesterday, which was a video, but like in the beginning, it had my feet in the picture, and I had to I
oh
told Percy
God.
this. I had a guy message me like off the video and was like, "I love your shoes," and I'm like, "This is creepy." Like that's a very creepy way to start a conversation. Like a
What kind
random
of shoes
man
are
that
you
I
wearing?
don't know. They were like flats of some kind. I don't know. It wasn't like high heels or anything that's like actually like if you have a foot fetish type of worthy. Again, this I'm sorry if this
I don't know,
podcast is
man.
like
If I see a full girl
but
on a
it's
story or
just
something, I'm not talking about her shoes. Me personally.
So you wouldn't say that you actually relish in that sort of male attention?
I I'm not saying that I don't appreciate it when I get a bunch of slides because it makes me feel good about myself when I'm posting like a picture to my story and I have like 6, 7 guys message me. Obviously, I don't respond back or I just say thank you and then end the conversation. But it's like you have to be creative if you want attention. Like you have to come
Oh,
at me
like
with
if for
something.
men to
You know what I mean?
DM women.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like if you're gonna start the same way, I just know what you're looking for,
Like
and I'm
I'm
gonna
not.
be bored with you. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
get
like
the
I
same
wouldn't.
thing out of literally everyone.
Yeah, I would never DM a woman and be like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" Like that. Like that's stupid. You can't do that.
That's corny.
Like
That's
that's
corny.
why my that's the thing. If I ever do that, like when I do that, which again, I've only done that like once in a whole year, right? Yeah, I think once in a whole year. And the girl that I DM, like I'm still talking to her now. The thing is, like my interest level has to be very high, where it's going to be easy for me to just have like a creative way of initiating contact with a complete stranger. So
Yeah.
it works. So it doesn't come out like as creepy or because I can see how creepy it is.
Yeah, it's really creepy. And it's the type of thing where it's like if you're gonna just go right off the bat and say something, make it something creative, make it something funny. Make make it seem approachable. And if you're not just gonna like fly solo like that, like slide up on a story that like relates to you. Like or like
Something,
if I
yeah.
post that I'm like somewhere, like ask me like, oh, like how is that museum? Like did you see so and so painting? Or like oh, like that restaurant looks like really good. What is it called? Like try to have a real conversation to slide in so it's less creepy and awkward to begin with. Because when you're just cold sliding in, even if I kind of know you, that just
It's still mad
gets
random.
uncomfortable.
It's mad random.
Same thing. Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. This is actually a good question. I actually want to. So I don't know if you go to the gym or not. Like, are you kind of, like physically active at all? Do you go to the gym or not?
I don't have a gym. Listen,
Okay.
live on a 6th floor walk up.
Yeah.
I count that as my
That's
gym
a workout in
today.
itself. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. But let's say like if you were at like Retro Fitness, Planet Fitness, 24 Hour, wherever, How would you feel about like a man coming up to you and trying to like talk to you while you're working out? Like, does the same like attitude apply to that too? Which I'm
I
pretty sure it
think
does.
it's all depends on what you were doing, and like if a girl is wearing headphones, she does not want to be bothered. If a girl is like doing like dumbbell lifting weights, whatever, like if she's doing something that is intensive, she does not want to be bothered. If you're gonna walk up to her and ask her something or like try talking to her, do not comment on her body. Do not comment on how she's doing something and
Mhm.
say, "Oh, you
Right.
need a spot." Like, do not do anything that could be construed as like inappropriate to begin with. And do not just bother a girl when she clearly does not want to be bothered. But
Yeah,
like
like I had a girl
if
come
you
up to me
see
in
the
the gym
same,
before.
yeah. Yeah, if
I've
you
had a
see the
girl come
same
up to
person
me.
every day doing the same thing, like ask them about it. Like ask them
Yeah.
like what's their routine is. Like it's not creepy if it's like a regular person that you see and it's just like you're used to seeing each other there. But when you're just constantly coming up to a person who clearly does not want you around or does not need you around, like it's just read the room. And I feel like a lot of
Just leave
men do
people
not
alone.
read the room.
Nah, just nothing about that. Nothing about that just sounds good at all. I would never do it, but I was just curious to know like what your opinion
Yeah,
was.
yeah, it's creepy. It's
let me
just
let,
so creepy sometimes.
let me I'm gonna chime in because as someone who works at a gym now part time and work out at the same gym, I talk to women all the time about this, and it's fascinating. There's like there's that one girl that loves everybody staring at her, but don't want nobody approaching her. Then you have the girl. I've met quite a few who literally go to pick up dudes, and and then there's some girls who don't want to be bothered. And I was talking to a girl the other day about this because she came up to me. Was like, "Yeah, I like when dudes look at me, but I don't like when they come up to me." And I'm like, I'm flexible at this
Wait,
point. So
what?
yeah,
No,
I'll
I
explain
get
it.
it though.
Like
It
she likes
makes
the
sense.
attention that
Yeah.
dudes see her and admire her, but she don't like when they come up to her. And I get it, I understand it because when I'm wearing my headphones, I don't like people staring at me or hey man, I like him. Like I just want to work out when I have my headphones on. I don't want to have to take it out unless it's something important. So I understand that aspect that a lot of girls don't like that. But at the same time too, it can I see girls that come to the gym all the time and all they do is hit on dudes all the time. So it makes it hard for some dudes to I get it. I say like this. You have to have a smooth approach and read the room right. This is how I'm gonna break it down. If you see a girl's with headphones on doing a hard workout, don't stop her or wait until she's on a break to hey, how you doing? I like how your butt look. First of all, you
Just
look
don't
like a
talk to
creep.
her.
You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
you want to talk
Just
to at
don't
least
talk to
wait.
her.
No, I mean, but I would say it is common for people to hit on other people at the gym, but just do it appropriately, like when they
The
leave
wrong
in
people
or
do
maybe
that.
cleaning up. Because I've done it myself, and I see it happen all the time. I have girls like, "Hey, you know that dude? I think he's fine or whatever." And when he's leaving, I'll be like, "Yo, go talk to that girl over there. She want to talk to you about something." So I, it's just you got to read the room right, and if you are a guy, read the room, especially when you're a posing dude, you're big. A lot of girls don't like you
Nah,
running
you
up
know
on them.
why? See, this is the thing. I would never do that because I go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. And the thing is, let's say if I were to talk to a girl that like I thought was pretty and then it just doesn't go well, then every time I see her in the gym is gonna be awkward. And when I go to the gym, like my gym is like my safe space. Like, you've been there, like it's super chill. So it's like,
Yeah,
why would I ruin that over that? So to
but
me, it's not worth it. Like,
hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I'm just saying.
nah,
The
it's not.
easiest way to slide in is trying to find a common ground. Like find a girl who has her headset on most of the time, and once she has it off, just ask her what she's listening to.
Yeah.
Find some way you can relate to this person and like go from there.
Nah,
No,
eh,
and this is why I say you got to
nah.
read the room because not everybody goes to the gym and wants to, get hit on. I respect it, but as a dude, if you, I because it's easy. If you see the same girl all the time at the gym, you already know that's a common interest. So if you are gonna approach her, do it in a way where she's getting ready to wrap up her workout. Maybe she's heading out the door. Then maybe, hey, I see you here all the time. What's your name? I've done it before myself, and it usually works.
Yeah,
And if it don't work, hell, it is what it is. Not everybody's gonna find you attractive. Not everybody.
See, but
wanna
that's
be
the
with
thing.
you.
I would only the thing is I rarely ever see women anyway that I'm like, oh my God, I have to talk to her. Again, I've only met in the last 10 years, I've only met 2 girls that I was like, all right, I really have to talk to them. Everybody else wasn't that big a deal. So it's like if I'm gonna stick my neck out there, like it's gonna be worth it and it's gonna work out. But again, I've never seen a girl in the gym that I was like, yo, I have to like at least know her in some kind of way. So to me, it's like I just can't relate because I just don't meet people who elicit that sort of or invoke that kind of reaction out of me where I feel like, oh, I have to disrupt this person's workout because I gotta talk to him. I'm not doing it. And then on top of that, I just never like assume that women like me anyway. Like I don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like I just like
You look like Chadwick Boseman, Dimitri. Women are going to like you. You do realize that, right? Like,
Chadwick Boseman
not that
reborn.
hard. Yes.
He know it's true. He already know.
Yeah, use it to your advantage.
Yeah, but nah, like I said, when I go to the gym, I'm in the zone, and again, I was telling this girl, the same girl that I told you that I was DMing her, I said I don't overestimate like how people feel about me. I rather underestimate it and then find out it's more than to overestimate it and then find out that it's less, if you get what I mean. So it usually
you're underestimating, then you're losing your confidence in a way.
No, because the girls that I like, I talk to them. So if I don't like you, I'm not gonna talk to you.
But I say, look, for me, when I walk in the room, I always get the eyes drawn to me anyway. But I just say, if you know how to have a conversation, you just do it right. Do it at the right time. Don't stop people in the middle of a workout or if they're on their way to work or whatever the case may be. I think one of the common reasons why people hate girls hate going to the gym is because some dudes, they get too caught up in looking at their butt that they have to go approach them or they stand at them the whole time. And it's like, bro, chill out, get your emotions in check. And if you want to talk to her, don't come to me because I have it done to me all the time. I'm at work watching, you will see whatever, and dude run up to me like, oh, yo, I saw you talking to that girl, man. Yo, she fine. Yeah. I'm like, well, if you feel that way, she's probably gonna leave like the next 2 minutes. Go talk to her, But some dudes,
if you really feel like that, but if you don't really, if you're not going to go into into action with boldness, then don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the thing is, if I really think a girl's attractive, I don't think twice about it. I'm just gonna go talk to her. But if I'm like, and I really then maybe I shouldn't do it. Like Natalie, I'll give you an example, right? So Percy worked out like we did a boxing workout together like last month or whatnot. And he knows how good I am at like skipping rope because I box. A while ago, maybe a few months ago, a girl had actually seen me skipping rope like in the upstairs portion of my gym, and then I went downstairs to start my boxing workout. And she came all the way downstairs just to tell me that like I looked badass while I was skipping rope and stuff. There wasn't a sector in my mind that was like, oh, like she came up to me because she found me attractive. I was just like, oh, she just liked the way that I skip rope. So I didn't make any conversation with her. I didn't ask her for her number. I didn't do anything. I probably should have because she wasn't ugly.
You signs, even if they don't physically come up to you, they'll like repeatedly look at you. They will give you the signs if they want.
That's true. That's true.
Will get it. Yeah.
So then by that logic, then there is another girl that probably likes me because I have seen her like looking at me a couple of times.
Exactly.
But this is my thing. I don't ever want to be that guy. Like I don't ever want to be that creepy ass dude that's like, oh yeah, how you doing today? I'm not gonna
the middle ground. You gotta be confident and not cocky, and you need to find some like natural way to approach her. That's it.
If I really like her, I'll just wave. I'm the type of guy. I'll just wave. If I see you looking at me, I'll wave at you. If I really if I really think you're pretty, I'll just wave. Yeah, I'm bold like that.
For a lot of girls too. Like that actually would, because that's like kind of cute, and like that's not something you get a lot. That'll work.
I will do that if I feel like, like if like let's say Percy, if we're at the gym and I'm like, yo, bro, you see that girl over there? I gotta talk to her. If I see her look at me like once or twice or like multiple times, I'm just gonna wave at her, and if she waves back, then I'm gonna go talk to her. Yeah, I'm that type of guy. Yeah, I'm that type of guy. I'm not gonna be like, oh hey, I'll just wave. And then like I'll just walk up to you and then we'll have a conversation. I'll find out your name and then we'll go from there.
That honestly would work on me and most of my friends. Because it's something you don't get, like honestly.
Yeah. I'll tell you this.
Because it's something nice and different than what you're used to.
I be knowing, and I'm old school, you know what I'm saying? And I'm old school. So it's just like, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just, that's just what people did back in the day. So it's like, yo, let's just keep doing it.
Let me, because I'm gonna ask you a question, Natalie. I agree with you, Dimitri, and I'll say this why. I've noticed in the last couple years when I just work out, my business, and not driving that attention to women, that they always come up to me. I realize the less attention I give them, the more it happens. Like I was telling Natalie, like this one girl, she came up to me the other day, although we in a relationship, but one of the reasons why she was interested was because she was like, "You don't find me attractive? Like we talk all the time. You don't compliment me anything." And I was like, I'm in a relationship, but I was like, I just
I
be
would have
chilling.
told
Like
her
I mind
no.
my business. You know what I'm saying? I don't, yeah, there's some good looking girls that come in and work out, but I don't go to the gym to go hit on girls. And so I guess so many girls go to the gym with the expectation that dude's going to hit on them. That when you don't, it draws their attention, which leads me to my question. Natalie, why don't women approach a man? Because I see it
Oh
all the
shit.
time, and like this one girl, she came up to me, she's like, "Hey, you know this dude, right? I found him very attractive and everything," and she wanted me to talk to him for her. And I always wonder, like, why don't I? Occasionally, there are some guys that girls that do go up to guys, but as a woman, why don't y'all approach guys at all, especially if you're interested?
I mean, I feel like I can't speak for all women. I personally don't, because I'm just a very keep to myself type of individual. There's a lot of introverted women who I personally know who are the same way, where it's easier to have a more outgoing man. You are a lot more outgoing than me, so I'm sure you can understand that just looking at it that way.
Mhm.
Um, I think a lot of it is that, but it's also the type of thing where it's like if a woman is approaching me, I feel like a lot of the time she's, how do I put this? I feel like it's harder. Trying to think.
Because
I feel like our intentions can get misconstrued a lot of the time. So like if a girl wants to actually like get to know a guy, if a girl approaches a guy, he just assumes that you want to sleep with them type of situation. Like I feel like the intentions are set more by the man than the woman, or at least it's easier to set the intentions. And when we're just so used to dealing with the same like douchebags that it's not like I don't mean that in like a mean way, but like a lot of like gym guys like are the ones who are going to be staring at your ass and stuff like that. So it's in a place that's more male heavy to begin with. I feel like it's very hard to feel like mentally prepared and like you actually want to approach somebody when you're already getting attention from men that you don't want. If
That's
that
true.
makes sense.
That
well,
I
makes
think
because
it all depends on the environment, really. Because I know girls who, like, at the bar will gladly go up to men and not just for like free drinks and stuff like that. It all depends on the setting you're in. And I feel like gyms are a very intimate setting to begin with, that for being like a very male dominated space. I know women who don't go to the gym just because they don't want to be objectified, which I would be lying if I said that wasn't like part of the reason for me, because I have a very like curvy body and stuff like that, and it's hard to like hide some of it, and I don't want unwanted male attention. Like I
I
just don't
feel
want
you.
that working
No, that's
out. So,
uncomfortable. Shit, I can only
yeah,
imagine like what you go through, like walking around like in the city and shit like that. Because it wasn't until like I was really on the internet and I was like, yo, like women actually like walk through like 42nd Street or like main areas in Manhattan, and y'all get like catcalled. Guys will like try to grab your hand and do a whole bunch of shit. And it's
oh
just
yeah,
mad unsafe. So it's like I actually understand that.
oh, I'm
yeah.
from
So
the city,
Because
so
there are guys that just take that shit too far. So I understand.
yeah, there always will be, and it's just as a woman, it's you need to put yourself in the safest for like environments that are more male dominated. You need to put yourself in the safest position possible, and I think gyms, depending on like the time of day and stuff like that, that could be a situation as well. I, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys know, like most women, if they go to like bars and stuff like that, they do that in groups. a lot of that is because of safety and not just because of friends. It's the reason why
That's a
girls go to
fact.
the bathroom together when they go to the bar. It's because we don't want unwanted male attention. We don't want to get drugged. The fact that we have to even think about these things, I think a lot of it really is
Ridiculous.
just a safety thing at this point.
I
That implicitly,
agree.
you guys might think that we're just afraid to make the first move because, we're so used to the man. But I think a lot of it is really just we just want to be safe.
It's not safe. No, it's not safe. And I'm glad that you say that, because I feel like there are some women that just kind of like, I'll say the lesser percentage that will just be naive with everything and just assume that everybody means them well and that, you could just be friends. Nah, it's not like that. It's like, don't trust people until they give you signs where it's like safe to land over there. So
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, I
No,
asked because although I do agree with everything you said, because dudes be tripping out there. I ain't even gonna lie. Some dudes can't take no for
Fucking
an
rapists.
answer. I grew up in the city. Catcalling is a huge thing there. But I was watching, and it's not for every girl, but I was watching a podcast with a bunch of different girls. They was talking about it, and one dude was asking a question. He was a guest on their podcast, and he was saying, in light of the whole Me Too movement and addressing sexual harassment and stuff like that, he said, why instead of encouraging men to keep approaching women, why don't women just, if they find somebody attractive, whatever, go approach them? And one of the things they said was, because I don't want to get rejected. I don't want my feelings to be hurt if he turns me down. And I just feel like, that's how we live on a day and age. We always got to constantly go up to girls. We spend money on dates just for them. Be like, I'm not interested. Like, that hurts us too. We just ingrained to do it because that's our society. But I just feel
I'm not.
like, I feel like women should not be afraid to approach men if they're interested. I'm not
I
just talking about the gym, but
Yeah, I don't want to revert back to social media and dating apps, but I will say I know a lot more women who use Bumble compares to Tinder, strictly because the woman has to make the first move with Bumble. And that's like a safer type of, I don't want to use the word safe repeatedly, but that's like a more comfortable thing because you can control the conversation more when you're the one starting it.
yeah,
Yeah, is it really like that? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bumble girl
it
has
is.
to message
Yeah, it
first.
is. You're right.
Yeah,
It is. Because
yeah.
you could put like conversation starters and stuff. Like, it'll say like, talk to me, ask me about important causes that's important to me or something like that. Like,
Yeah, they
mine was
have
like,
prompts where the girl can just message, but the girl has
yeah,
to make,
yeah.
and I think it's 24 hours. If you don't message, then it runs
And you
out.
could extend it. Yeah, you could extend it.
Yeah,
You could do a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but I know people who prefer that over Tinder strictly because it's easier to control what's going on. It feels like a
Yeah.
safer environment. And Bumble was actually created by a woman for that specific reason. So,
Oh
fun
wow.
fact.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, me as a guy, I think is extremely, because for me it's very rare for a girl to come up to a guy and be like, I find you very attractive or whatever the case may be. I like how you dress or whatever. Like, it happens so little that when it does happen, it's like we won the lottery. And me personally, I feel like it'll settle a lot of the issues that we face in the dating realm, social media, in person, online, in general. If if women just, first of all, I gotta say, dudes, you gotta take no for an answer and leave it at that. But I also think it's not wrong with a girl shooting her shot. I think it's pretty hot. I may not even like you. I might think, it's not worth my time, but I will appreciate the effort that you even came to me about it. So that's all I'm
I,
saying. I just feel like, it'd
Here's the
be
thing. Here's the thing. I have a bunch of girls who like initiate with me like online on like dating apps, because I don't even like swipe around anymore. I'll just have girls like I'll get the notification that somebody like swipe right on me, and then I'll just match with them and then just talk to them just for sake of talking to them. But it'd be the girls that I don't want.
no, that's
That's the
true.
thing.
That's true.
Yeah, like it'll be like generally it'll be girls that like I'm not even really feeling like that. And then what's funny, I've heard girls say that like if their boyfriend never came up to him, that they probably wouldn't even be in a relationship
Yup.
because they wouldn't have walked up to him first. Like, so, and I know that's usually a thing. So, like, if a guy doesn't actually go up to that particular girl, she will never come up to him. So it's really generally like on us, because that day is probably never really gonna happen. Like, unless like you're just like an anomaly in that girl's eyes and it'll make her want to like come and talk to you, you're gonna have to talk to her.
I will say, I think a lot of the times women do flirt, and you guys just don't pick up on that collectively.
Oh no,
Like,
we gotta talk
we
about
were
that.
talking about this earlier, Dimitri, about that girl who came up to you when you were jump roping and then went down for boxing or whatever. Yeah, she was flirting with you very, very clearly. Like, girls are just a lot more of like a casual type of thing where like we'll be very sarcastic. We're not just going to outwardly like comment on your appearance, because a lot of us don't want you to outwardly comment on our appearance. Obviously in LA that might be different because women really pride themselves on looks there, but a lot of us
went
don't
over my
want to
head.
talk about appearance right away. We want to like slide in more authentically.
Yeah.
And I don't.
But what's funny is that she has like a twin sister that looks exactly like her. So basically after that exchange, I never talked to her again. So we were at the gym like at the same time plenty of times after that, and I never said anything to her because, mind you, I didn't know which one was which anyway. So it was kind of awkward. So I was like, nah, I can't really like talk to her because, you know, like mad time has passed.
That's kind of great. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how to solve that issue for you.
Nah, I mean, she was cute, like she was pretty, but like nothing like, oh my gosh, like, because if that was the case, then I would have, you know, made a point out of it. Like I even had another lady, she was like an instructor of like a kickboxing class or something like that. So, and this was last week, and I was training boxing. It's funny, all this stuff happens when I'm training boxing. So I'm done with my workout, and I'm just going into the same room that I sparred you in, and I was going in there just to shadow box, like, you know, 2 rounds and to cool down. And then as I'm walking by her, like the class is over, she's packing her stuff up. And she goes, "Oh, what she say? She says, does your mom work out at 24-hour fitness, but not like that one, but another one?" And I was like, "No." And then she said, "Oh, because you know you look familiar, like your hair is like something like that." And I'm like, "All right," you know what I'm saying? And then she was like inviting me to come to like her class, like another day. And I'm like, "Oh, well, you know, I kind of like to work out by myself or something." Like, she's like, "Oh, but you could do the same thing you're doing now over there." And I'm just like, yeah, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, like this is never gonna happen. Mind you, she was a bit older, so you know, I don't know. See, but I don't take stuff like that as flirting. Maybe it probably was because her energy was kind of the same way the other girls was.
That's the point I was gonna make. Because even like when Natalie was
Nah, hold on, let Natalie finish. I actually want to know what she says.
No, I think she was flirting with you just from my perspective, from what I've heard from this. But I think a lot of the time, how do I put this? I think men value looks more than women do. So women want to know that you actually can be able to keep a conversation. And that's why we actually start with these type of things like, oh, do I know you from somewhere? Because we want to be able to gauge like who you are and where you're like mentally at just off like one conversation, if that makes sense.
Well, I would say,
I mean, that part of relationships is pretty fun, you know, but like obviously you get in a relationship with somebody, then like that's when like things get all complicated and relationships aren't like as fun. So
no, but even not for relationships, it's nice to know where somebody's like mentally at before you pursue anything.
You have to,
like, yeah. And I feel like that's the easiest way to like approach a man, is to try to figure out where they are on that type of scale. Whereas men would come up to you and be like, hey, like you're attractive type of situation. Women do
I'll keep everything that you said in mind. Yeah. Well, I'll keep all that you said in mind because I let a lot of shit go over my head.
Hey, you gotta pick up on the little cues.
No.
We normally send a lot of them.
You know what? No, I say this, women. I gotta make yourselves clear, because I don't know what this whole, if I look at you twice, I'm interested in me, because I've seen girls do that before, and they married and they thought I had some spinach in my teeth. So that's not suitable enough for me.
It depends. No.
Giving you.
I'm just saying.
It depends. It depends, bro. Because there's like a look. There's like just like a quick glance, like, oh, all right, this guy in that direction, like you know what I'm saying? Or there's like a look, and then if you get multiple, like I'm talking about, I've had plenty of times where like I've had a girl look at me before, and I get like butterflies in my stomach. I'm talking about like a little like tingly feeling in my stomach. Then I automatically
Spider-Man, get out of here, man.
Nah, yo, it's true. It's true. Like there's a girl that I dated like years ago, and I used to work at Old Navy a long time ago, and she came there to see her boyfriend at the time, who I was like friends with. when we saw each other, like we made eye contact, and I would say like that 2-second like of us looking at each other lasted like 15 seconds in my head, and then I got like the little feeling in my stomach. Mind you, that was another time that like I slid in somebody's DMs like years ago, and she remembered that. Like she remembered. I was like, I forgot what I said. I was like, oh, like I remember, seeing you for somewhere. She remembered that. So that 15 seconds for me, it was the same like 15 seconds for her. If you get what I'm saying, like where time stopped, we looked at each other and then we kept on walking. And then it wasn't until like months after the fact where I went to go talk to her. So it's like, if you've gotten that look before, you'll know what that look is.
Percy is not good at reading signs. When I was being like sarcastic with him back in college, that's when he thought I hated him. When I was like smirking, he took that as like an RBF. Like it's different.
No, it's because
it's very different.
It's one of those things where if you want something,
never gonna happen, bro.
No. Being an actor so long, you study people and you get that sense, right? But how is you looking at me and just looking at me means that you want to go on a date, or like the way how
because a girl that don't like you is not gonna look at you multiple times. That's what I'm saying. Like a girl that's really feeling you is gonna like. It's like she said, and I think of mad moments like Natalie. One time I used to work at New York Sports Club, and I was there with my friend, and we were working out. There was this blonde girl that like walked by us, and then I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but like our person, you know what I mean, like where you could do cable crossovers, like you have the cables.
Yeah.
So she asked me, mind you, like, and she was tall enough. She wasn't that short. So she came up to the both of us while we were talking, and she's like, "Oh, can you help me like adjust this?" And I'm like, and mind you, like I did it for her, but I'm like, yo, she could have easily just did that. But I didn't take it as, oh, she wanted me to talk to her. You see what I'm saying? So like you're gonna get, like, I get what she means by that. Like if you have these, like, I know what she means. It's just for me, I don't always want to, like, sometimes I might not always want to say something either because I'm not thinking of it at the time, or I don't want to just assume she's just feeling me, or maybe because I don't like her back. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I understand.
Yeah. Well, you gotta. You can go.
Yeah.
No, you're good. It's okay. You can go.
The only reason why I mention that is because no. But I'm saying the only reason why I mention that is like there's certain girls that I know who are very friendly, like very nice, outgoing, and everybody think that because she's talking to them that she want to take them out on a date. I'm like, you know what? That's not true. She got her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. He comes work out all the time with her. You know what I'm saying? She's just friendly. So I think that's the reason why, because women don't hit on men too often or go after men that they're interested in so often, that it just skews, because I've had girls who's openly been friendly to me, and it's just because they want to be friends or they like the way how I do a certain workout and they want to learn it. That don't mean they want to go on a date with me. So when
it depends. It depends on how they do it.
Like, for instance, you gotta see like their voice tone. You gotta see their looks. Like you have to read into the words that they're giving you. Like you gotta pick up on the context clues. Like really.
Yeah.
So it's like all right. Look at it like this. Look at it like this, right? So if you're at the gym, and then you're on one side of the gym, and then she's on another side of the gym, and then let's say she stops what she's doing to go all the way on your side of the gym just to talk to you about whatever it is that she wanted to talk to you about, that's a sign. If she literally stopped what she's doing just to talk to you, it's like the way that she goes about it, that says everything. Yeah. Especially if she, you know what I'm saying? So she could have like not have interrupted what she's doing, but she chose to interrupt that just to talk to you.
Well, that's
girls
obvious,
don't
though.
do that.
That's obvious, though.
Listen,
that's obvious.
Like 90% of the time, these interactions that we're talking about, they're very blatantly flirting. Only like 10% of the time are you going to see this female be in a relationship and just be outgoing. And as long as you're not being creepy about it, it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Like literally just be like authentic, and you can send out vibes too. It's just don't be creepy.
I just feel like people would benefit more if they were just a little more direct with their flirtation. Because
in a perfect world,
you know what I'm saying? I've been experienced enough women that I know when they start touch you, that when they give you that look, like, yeah, obviously there's something there. But generally, a lot of dudes don't experience that enough to pick up on those signs. So that type of flirting is like, I get it. It's the woman's way of doing it. But you could be a little more direct. Like you said, if you coming across the gym to talk to me, or she's moving her stuff right, not next to you, but she's moving from one side of the gym next to you to work out, or she's starting a conversation and stuff like that. You make it a little obvious, like, all right, maybe she's a little interested, but that whole, I'ma just glance at you, give you a little half smile, and then, oh, I wanted you to ask me
Girls don't
out. It's
even
like,
do
come
that.
on,
I
man.
feel like girls don't smile. That's like out of movies. A girl will just look at you multiple times because she finds you attractive. I don't think girls will really like smile at you. None of that. At least I don't remember the last time that happened.
I'll tell you this. Last year, before I was talking now, I remember there was this one girl. She was just completely making it obvious. I was working out, and we was talking, and like she was like, "Yeah, you don't think I'm fine?" I'm like, "You all right?"
I'll
And
just
she was
say
like,
nope.
and then she stepped around. She stepped a little further in front of me. She started turning around, bending over. She like, "You don't think I'm hot, huh?" I'm like, "All right,
What
now
the
you making
fuck?
it obvious." Yeah, I was like,
That really happened, man?
yeah, yeah. I can't even make this up. I
I
can't even
believe
make this up.
it.
I,
Yeah.
I I mean, I have the effect on girls. It's
Uh,
it's the gift
no,
of
it's
Percy.
because certain women want attention more than they want a man. And that is what that girl wants. She just wants validation and attention.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's corny. That's why I would have just told her no.
but that's the point I was making too earlier, Dimitri. It's
Even
like,
if I did, I would have just told her no.
and but that's what I mean. I realize the less you act, you treat women like I don't really need you, the more they want you. Because like
Is
I
that true,
wasn't giving this
Natalie?
girl, like, for
I
instance,
mean, I
Natalie,
think it varies on the individual. I
like,
think it's nice knowing that the man isn't like, how do I put it? It's nice knowing that they're not creepy and gonna consistently talk to you. And I think for some women, the whole idea of like, oh, like you're taken is like a turn on because like, well, what does this woman see in you? Like clearly there's a reason why you're taken. So I think in some ways it's true, but I think it just varies on the individual.
and
Yeah. In my last relationship, it's like as soon as we got together is when like girls started like popping up like left and right. I didn't cheat or anything like that, but I just thought it was funny how that happens. How as soon as you get in a relationship is when like you have way more options, blatant options at
Yeah.
that. And I feel like it's not. I don't even think most of them didn't even know that I was in a relationship. I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe the energy. I don't know. But I
No,
was like,
you can tell. Like, there's an energy about people when they first get in relationships. Like, the honeymoon phase is a thing personality wise for people and not just for an actual relationship. Like, people like glow more and they seem more outgoing and more ready to take on things. And those are traits that women want, like, period.
yeah.
speaking speaking of seriousness and being direct, this has been a long standing topic about relationships because we're living in a day and age now where a lot of people are living together, seeing each other, and they're not exactly exclusive. Some people are looking for their friends with benefits or whatever the case may be. And it's been a conversation because some women say, they want men to be direct about what they want. Oh, do you want a relationship? Let me know up front. If you just want to have a late night session, let me know. Right. But I also see a lot of men do that and it never ends well. So, do you think, for both of y'all, especially you now, because I want to get a woman's perspective about this, do you think that people need to be a little more open and honest at the beginning of a date or a relationship, or whatever the case may be, about what they want? Or do you think that people want the truth, but they don't really want the truth?
I
What do you think?
think I think it's not a right away. I think once things start to become more serious and you want to make things exclusive, then you really need to have that conversation. But I don't think it's something that needs to be approached right away otherwise. Because you're not really like committed to an individual right away. So it's like you don't really need to know the expectations because there aren't any expectations yet. You don't know what to expect in the situation. Most people don't know what they want right away, or they think they want something and then they end up wanting something else. But when you truly like start dating with somebody and see them for like at least a couple months. I feel like the month or two mark, like after like 2 months, then like anybody that you've had like in your circulation of people, if that makes sense to you guys. I don't know if that does or if that
Yeah.
just makes sense to women. anybody who's in like your roster, your circulation, like after like a couple months, they should all know that you're in a relationship. They should all know like what's going on if you're in an exclusive relationship. I think to expect everything to be done right away is just not likely and not common for many reasons, because you need to set the stage what the relationship is going to be at. But I think there needs to be rules always in place, because I think my definition of like cheating, for example, is probably slightly different from both of your guys's in different ways. And I think that needs to be addressed before anything like serious.
Gotta set boundaries.
Yeah.
That's
but
a fact.
I before I let Dimitri answer, let me ask you this. Let's say when I've reapproached you right on social media, hypothetically, let's say you want me to be 100% truthful, and I say, I'm gonna be real. I'm not exactly looking for a relationship right now. I just want to have a little fling. Some women say they want us to be directly honest because or just people in general. Let me just say that they want people to be directly honest and upfront about what they want, because usually within a couple days, exactly if you want a relationship or you just looking for a hookup buddy. We know, especially in this day and age, how people are operating. But do you think that being open and honest like that in general is much more healthy opposed to waiting a couple months when people start developing feelings to say that? Because I've been hearing, like I said, a lot of women say, I want you to be open and honest, but then when you be open and honest, you're the bad guy. So what do you think?
Is this one for strictly me or both
Yeah,
of us?
I would like to get your opinion on that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's like a right away thing. You're saying this is my intention. I feel like it kind of comes off douchebaggy, in my personal opinion, if we've talked for like a couple of days and you're like, listen, I just want to hook up. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth, but I do think that's something you need to address earlier on. So I would say like maybe a couple of weeks in, be like, hey, like I'm sorry, like I don't think I'm looking for anything serious right now. And just lay out the groundwork then before you like truly lead somebody on. But I think right away, I think people don't know right away what they're looking for, even if they think they know what they're looking for. So I think it's something that needs to take at least a little bit of time to sink in and isn't like a first so-and-so conversation.
What do you think, Dimitri?
About what? Like letting my intentions being known in a relationship? Like when I meet somebody?
Like, yeah, I'm not saying right off the bat, but like maybe after a couple days or maybe a few weeks. Like, would you be upset if a girl after like a couple weeks she was like, I'm gonna be real, I enjoy your company, but I'm not exactly looking for a relationship right now. I'm just looking for someone to chill with, and we all know what that means in the sense of that term. But
I'm like, hey, that's what you want. I want the same thing. What do I look like getting mad about that? Nah, like that's great. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. Like non-committal relationships is where it's at. I honestly, like a lot of times, like I run into problems trying to like get girls to like be on that like type of vibe, because if I tell them, because me, all right, like Natalie, right? I don't believe that like men and women can be friends. Okay, I've never had like a woman that was like just my friend. Any girl that was ever around me, it's either like we both liked each other and things happened, or like I didn't like them and then things kind of fell off. So, and they're like, oh, so if we're not friends, what are we? I'm like, we're companions. That's just what it is. And they don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, yo, like what we could have is actually deeper than like any relationship you could have with any other guy, because I can encourage you to go ahead and go get a boyfriend, and that relationship can be all it can be. If it works out, great. But then like, if it doesn't work out, I'll still be right here. You know what I'm saying? You guys can get married, and like I'll come to the damn wedding and I'll support it and I'll always be here. Like that's actually deeper than a relationship. But some girls, they just don't see it like that. There are women that I've met that just want what they want when they want it. And a lot of times, like I might not even like be in a certain space like where I like can be in a relationship, or I feel like a relationship with me is not what you need. You know what I'm saying? Like honestly, like I've been around girls that I thought cool, that I thought were attractive, and we would hang out, but I'm like, a relationship is not what you need, or it's not like necessary between the two of us, or whatever you would need me to be. I couldn't be that for you, but somebody else could. So we can still hang out, and I want you to go ahead and find that with somebody else. But I'm just not that guy. I'm not that guy. And I try my best to not misrepresent myself when I meet like women, because you're only setting yourself up for like, I don't want to say failure, but like drama, like in the end. And I don't like that shit. Especially like if I don't even want to have a relationship with you. So it's like, what do I look like engaging in any sort of like drama? It's like we have nothing going on. So like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What do you think, Natalie? Do you think men and women can be genuine friends?
Yeah. I genuinely do not see any issue with it whatsoever. I think if you're in a committed relationship with somebody, I think everything like I'm not, how do I put this? I think if you are dating somebody and your significant other's best friend is somebody who they have like a history with, where they're just extremely, extremely close with, to like a concerning point, like they're getting like matching like I love you tattoos and stuff like that. Maybe like some flags should be going up, but I don't see any reason why there should be any issue as long as you're open and honest with your partner and you trust your partner, because I think all of this is really based on trust, that they're going to be honest with you about their expectations, whether they're going to be honest with you about like friendships, like as long as there is some actual trust to the relationship, I don't see any issues with anything. I really don't. I think people make things out to be more complicated than they actually are.
I
agree to an extent.
I definitely agree, but also it's one because
That people
I
make
gotta,
things complicated.
yeah, I gotta agree with Dimitri because I always feel like there's some girls I'm cool with, not that many. I could count on my fingers how many. But one of the things I realized is that a lot of people who say men and women can be friends also don't realize a lot of times the guy or the girl they friends with have hit on them, wanted to date. They probably had some intimate sessions before. So I think if it's established early on, there's no mutual feelings or whatever the case may be, you can. It just depends on the person because I've seen friends who you would have never thought they would ever date, and then lo and behold, you know what I'm saying, they together and stuff like that. I don't know. I think you can, but I think it has to be one of those. It has to come from a place where like I see each other like as siblings or and stuff
No,
like
you
that.
No,
in my nah, good.
no, I just Percy and I, like, he knows about some of my guy friends who I have like histories with and stuff like that. The sibling thing is weird, in my opinion. I think the best way, if you're trying to gauge whether or not you would ever be with an individual who you're friends with, you need to find like whatever fatal flaw they have, because everybody has a fatal flaw, and just think about that every time. And then you're never going to be attracted to that individual ever, which it works if you ever need a like
Oh, they have like a missing tooth or some shit.
yeah, like they have like everybody has something
But
that
I
it's
was
to get over. But
Because I mean, like you said, like a fatal flaw, so something that like you
yeah, like
find like that makes them just totally unattractive.
yeah, whether it's totally unattractive or it's just something that personally you can never get past. But I honestly still think this is all like a trust thing. Like Percy knows I'm friends with like guy friends who I have a past with. And as long as we're having this open like conversation and stuff like that, like I'm not expecting everybody to relay every single message to everybody, but as long as there's like a core trust base and you let people know, like, hey, so and so said something to me along these lines, and like they're aware of like what's going on, I don't see the issue. I really.
Well, I think there won't be an issue as long as you're with somebody that shares the same values and has those sort of beliefs and doesn't take issue to things that you believe and things that you find okay, right? Because that's my thing. Like you said, people overcomplicate shit. So I feel like people should be with people who, like. Because all right. So just to make more sense. So my favorite R&B singer is Brian McKnight, and then he says this about relationships and marriages, but more so marriages. But I kind of apply it in a relationship, like parameters, which is basically don't compromise on anything, because you have to make sure that the person that you want to be with long term, all the boxes are checked, all the I's are dotted, because ultimately those are the things that are going to get you through the times, right? So if I'm gonna date somebody, like me personally, wouldn't like a girl having guy friends with me is not okay. I'm sorry. Like if she's my girl, you can't have any guy friends. I'm sorry. And I say that shit from day one. So that way Like she can have guy friends, but then we could just never be in a relationship. So like we could, we could hang out, we could do all of that, but a relationship is just, not on the table.
Right.
And it's just because to me it's just simple math. So it's like if I think that it's not okay, but she does, then she should be with somebody who thinks that it's okay. So that way you don't have any arguments and stuff like that. So that way he could have female friends and y'all could just be friends. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could have friends with everybody and then it's all good. Me personally, I can't do that. So I don't compromise on any of those like deal breakers because that's one of them. I'm sorry. Because it's not to say that like a woman can't have friends that are men. I'm not saying that. But like let's say like if we're in a relationship, Natalie, and then like you're going to the bar with this guy instead of like going out with me or spending time with me, yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. And he gotta go. One of us gotta go. I'm sorry. Yeah, like because I not to say that I'm like a jealous dude or I'm possessive or whatever, but like you can't be my girl and then like spending time with Johnny or Joey or Robert. It's just not gonna work. Nah, like you need to be with me. You gotta stay with me. You can't be with these guys. Nah, you gotta spend all the time with me. Like your female friends, yeah, sure, because you're supposed to have a life outside of your boyfriend and girlfriend. Right. But like guys, like we could be out somewhere and then you see Johnny. Oh, hey Johnny, how's it going? How you been? Oh yeah, oh good, Natalie. Oh, everything is great. Okay, bye. That's all it can be. That's all it can be. Phone conversations, y'all going on dates. All of that, nah, I'm sorry. I'll tell a girl that from day one. And if she don't like it, she can go.
Man, I say this. I think friendships are being blurred because, I think relationships are built on trust, right? But not everybody's comfortable with somebody, who has a history with a friend. And that, I mean, talking about a sexual history or they had a romantic history. A lot of people like, I trust you, but I already had that connection before. What makes you think that, I make you upset, you go crying on his shoulder.
It's just too much of a headache. Yeah. That's why you just don't. You just don't be with somebody that just is gonna just do those types. Is going to do things that you feel is not okay. That's why you have that conversation. You really ask them like, "Yo, like, do you believe men and women can be friends, or are you on this type of time on these particular subjects?" Because to me, like, we talked about these sorts of things just in life in general. My mantra is you don't have to put up with that. Like, you don't have to put up with that. There's certain things I refuse to put up with. Because I like Natalie, I'll give you some context. Like my ex-girlfriend, like we went back and forth on that type of stuff all the time. Ultimately, I won. But the thing is, when you make those sorts of compromises, then you resent that person. Yes, because then you feel like, oh, I can't have friends because he said I can't. Like I'm not your dad. So it's like, yo, if you want to be friends with him, then great. But like I just, I'm just not gonna support that. Because I believe there's always like, all right. Like Natalie, we could never be friends if there's a part of me that said, yo, if Natalie threw it at me, I'll catch it. Like if I find you attractive in any sort of way, like I can never be your friend. Friends don't find each other attractive.
That's true. And that's one of the problems. That's why I'm saying, that's why I have a hard time saying that, because there's always that one friend that you say, yeah, I've had a history, and he or she is plotting the whole time. So it's a tricky one. But I got another one. Because me and Natalie talked about this before, but it's a big thing going on. A lot of people make a deal or talk about, posting your relationship on social media. Some people, I know their whole timeline is their relationship with their person. And then other people, you don't see a picture, maybe one post from like 3 years ago or whatever the case may be. But some people don't post on social media. Do y'all think that it is important, especially when you're in a relationship, to post your significant other, wife, boyfriend, husband, whatever, on social media?
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to, Dimitri?
Natalie, you can go first.
I don't really think the way I use social media is I just share pictures that make me happy, basically. I used to use it very differently, but as I've grown up, I realized social media just feels like a giant scam anyway. So I might as well try to find some like little bright light in it. So like for me, like I'd be more than happy like posting pictures like the two of us type of thing, just because like this is like a moment in my life that brought me joy. But I understand that social media is different from everybody. And like the way you guys use social media is very different than the way that I do, just because you guys do have your podcast, you guys have acting, like you guys have all these other things going on. And I understand that. So I don't think there should ever be any necessarily expectations because everybody uses it differently. It's basically like an online journal that we all interact with every day. So everybody's going to use it differently. And I think once we start comparing our social medias and the way we react to our relationships on Instagram to somebody else's, that's when we see the issues come in play, because that's when we start questioning.
Yeah, my thing is with posting your significant others, like I don't care about that shit. Like yeah, like I 100% like get what she means. Like if I take like a good ass picture of us and like I think it's a good ass picture, yeah, I'll post it. But the thing is, like, let's say, and Natalie, like, tell me if you agree. Like, there are couples that will post each other all day, every day, but that's not like a real indicator of like a good relationship. They could be doing all that and having like all these problems like behind closed doors. So I feel like what really matters to me anyway is more so like the contents of our actual relationship, more so than like us posting each other, because that's really just like for other people to see. It's like we took the picture, like us having it ourselves should be enough. So it's like I don't care what other people, think about, what we got going on. Because to me, like my last relationship, I was with my ex-girlfriend for 6.5 years, almost 7 years, and it's like we posted each other and stuff. Like people knew we were together, but it's not like we were doing it all the time, because instead of posting each other, we were spending time together. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like remember we did the quick take about Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey?
Yeah.
And then you asked me, you were like, oh, well, would she have stayed with you if you were spending a whole bunch of money and this and that, right? And what did I say? I said, I wasn't really doing all that stuff anyway, because what I was paying attention to in our relationship was what I believe actually mattered, which is, the way that we felt about each other, how much time we were spending around each other, those sorts of things. So it's, to me, like, posting each other on social media is like cosmetic, again, like what matters is actually like the real shit.
Right. And I actually, yeah, babe.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say social media is everyone's highlight reel. Like, don't expect anything from the actual pictures you see.
Me personally, I think it's up to the person, but I look at social media like you said, babe, that we use it for professional reason. Me personally, I don't post a lot of photos of my partner and stuff, mostly just because it's a headache. I see it all the time, like the Michael B. Jordan, Lori Harvey, even people I went to college or high school with. They make all these posts with their significant others, and then all of a sudden they break up, and then they got to scrub all the pictures off, and then they got 2 posts left. So I was like, I feel like it's unhealthy to set that boundary of, oh, you not posting me? Oh, you must be cheating. No, some people use social media for business. Some people use it for other things. Some people like to dedicate their social media to their partners, and that's completely all right. But I feel like we live in a society now where everybody wants validation off of social media. Now, that's not to say if you are in a relationship with somebody, it should be nice to post your significant other, whether you want to do it once a month or every other week or whatever the case may be. I think it is healthy to post them once in a while just to show people I'm not hiding this person. But I just see it so often that, oh, you're not posting me, oh, you must be cheating, or you don't really care about me. And it's like, no, I just, I'm not talking about you, Ben. I'm just saying in general. Like a lot of people feel like you have to post your whole relationship on social media. And I see it all the time. People ranting about their relationships on social media. Oh, my boyfriend did this today. I'm like, keep that at home. That's why a lot of relationships don't work nowadays, because I see too many people too quick to go on social media and blast their partner and then get upset when they don't want to work things out. It's like you already put out business out there. So, there's no reason for me to post you, because, you just ruining what I got going on, so.
Yeah. But yeah, bro. So I know you like edit this product. We got kind of like wrap it up, because like it's getting like kind of late.
Oh yeah. I think it was a good episode. It's always great to have a woman's perspective on a lot of these topics, because
absolutely,
I think
this was nice.
Yeah, it's great to have different voices, and I'm sure people are getting tired of just me and Dimitri on here. So
nah, that's a fact.
Any final thoughts from y'all? Or if y'all want to plug where people can find you, it's gonna be $5 a piece, but you can still do it.
You can find me on Percy's Instagram as
Oh
the person
God.
taking all of his pictures. So yeah, there you
I don't agree with that. I plead the fifth.
go.
I'm editing this part out. Dimitri, you got any final thoughts about just any of the topics we talked about?
No, but I advise people to think for themselves and to think critically.
And with that, I always say a helping hand is a better hand. You know, have a healthy relationship with social media. Don't follow me because no, I'm kidding. You can always follow me. Follow Natalie, follow Dimitri on Instagram, Facebook, Dimitri YouTube. And like I always say, a helping hand is a better hand. Thank you to Natalie and my man Dimitri.